One of the most anticipated drivers for the 2023 season is definitely Kyle Busch. And the veteran couldn't have hoped for a better start to his career with Richard Childress Racing. Not only did he win the Auto Club Speedway, but the reaction of the fans is something that he'll never forget in his life. Busch came a long way from Joe Gibbs Racing, the team that actually made the notorious character of him, and after he's been treated the way he was, the fans have recognized that there is a hidden gem in Busch's soul. Needless to say, they were all ready to express it on the track after his recognizable celebration. Kyle Busch spent the majority of his racing career with Joe Gibbs Racing, and you'd think that the team would either want him to retire with them or grant him a proper leave. But none of these things happened. Quite the contrary, Busch was treated like an ordinary driver with JGR, with him leaving out due to the inability of the team to extend the sponsorship with M&M's, the brand that actually made Busch the Candyman. And as we all know, Busch wasn't just a regular racer at Joe Gibbs Racing. He was the guy that actually won 2 championships for the team in 2015 and 2019, and was very close to winning it back in 2021. So, to see things go the way they did with the team is actually a bittersweet result for the former Candyman, and at 37 years of age, he was forced to seek shelter with another team. When he chose Richard Childress Racing, not many fans projected him to win races or to actually be competitive. After all, you just went from one of the best, if not the best, teams in the paddock in terms of technology and equipment to a mediocre team at its best. Yet, Busch believed that he could be the thing that RCR is missing right now, with Tyler Reddick going to replace Kurt Busch in 23XI Racing. Therefore, with Busch taking the number 8 in RCR, the critics started to come right away. One of the biggest challenges that he had to overcome, but did so with ease, was securing sponsorships for himself. A couple of sponsors, such as 3Chi, Lucas Oil, Cheddar's, Alsco, and Lenovo, are going to support Busch in his 2023 season, which is poised to be a very good one for the RCR driver. Now, the sponsors are probably rubbing their hands thanks to the deal that they were able to secure, especially after how Busch was treated when he did his recognizable bow down to the audience after winning the Auto Club Speedway. Usually, highlights from this race come during the race, in the garage, or during a driver's interview, but after Busch's win, all eyes were put on the fans and how they would react to the RCR's newest addition's win. Had this win come from JGR, then the reaction wouldn't be as heartwarming as we witnessed last week. It goes without saying that Busch is one of the most booed drivers due to his bad reputation as a reckless driver in JGR. After all, it did seem like the team has that kind of energy, and when you're successful in the sport, then the fans aren't particularly happy to see you succeed even more. But after winning the latest race as an RCR driver and doing his celebration, Busch has received an overwhelmingly positive reaction that had no actual boos and featured audible cheers. We know that this may come as a shock to those who missed it, but yes, Busch was actually celebrated for winning a race. And yeah, do we need to mention that he is currently driving an American-made car, the number 8 Chevrolet, rather than a Toyota up until this period of his career? Who would have thought that the racer who has worn NASCAR's proverbial black hat for the better part of 2 decades was actually able to draw positive reactions out of the crowd, emerging from his car a winner in the season's second race? One thing that we know about NASCAR is that the season is long, and while this is a positive boost for Busch's championship aspirations, it means nothing in the long-term view of the team. Then again, why were the fans so happy to see Busch win a race after being booed for so long in his 15-year tenure with JGR? One couldn't help but wonder, how did Busch manage to turn himself from NASCAR's villain into the hero of the sport, and most likely its face as well? As the old saying goes, after every storm, there's sunshine, and after everything that Busch experienced with JGR during the negotiations saga, this is more than deserved for him. And yes, don't forget the fact that Busch came from a much more competitive car, the number 18 Toyota in JGR, to the number 8 Chevrolet in RCR, one that does have its challenges, and one that Busch has been fairly warned about prior to him putting pen to paper. This is something that Freddie Kraft also spoke about on his podcast when the contract was made official, with Kraft adding, "Kyle Busch has never really had to do more with less. He has always been shit in the garage. It's going to be interesting to see how he does now. We will see if he can turn that ship around and make it a good car." So, for the genuine fans of the sport, it's always nice to see when a driver is able to win a race in a less competitive car than what he's used to. After all, Busch was always at that upper echelon with JGR, and the fact that he has now won a race with a team that has proven itself to be very questionable in terms of matching the pace of championship-caliber teams is definitely something that deserves a warm welcome. Even the haters would have a hard time finding excuses this time, and that has been proven by Busch being welcomed with his first win of the season. Keep in mind that Busch hinted that he would be very competitive in the upcoming season through the first race, the Daytona 500, and hadn't it been for the crash, he would have ended in the high places as well. But now, luck has smiled upon Busch, and he is most definitely looking forward to starting a winning streak in the upcoming race this weekend at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What did Busch have to say about his first win of the season? Obviously, he is very stoked that the team has actually provided him with a car that can fight at the front. And when talking about this matter, he said, "Rowdy Nation is growing loud and proud. Watch out, we're going to take over." As we mentioned earlier in this video, the fact that Busch was treated the way he was by JGR has only facilitated the fans' support of him. And after everything came down to it, the fans now believe that JGR was the side to blame that both weren't able to come to common ground, and not Kyle Busch. This is something that Kyle has said loud and clear, but given the fact that he had a notorious reputation at that point, many fans labeled him as a hater and a crybaby, and the team is ready to move in another direction. Obviously, the grandson of the owner, Ty Gibbs, just came out of an Xfinity Series championship season, and it would only be right for his family to provide him with a seat in the Cup Series. Busch has addressed the way he was treated in JGR, and now, from this point of view, we do understand that he was in fact the side that was right all along. Apparently, they've got other irons in the fire, maybe other sponsors for other drivers, and that's the road they're going down. But was Busch really the victim in this whole case? According to his former teammate, Denny Hamlin, this is not the case, and the only guy to be blamed for how things turned out is Kyle Busch. It's strange that Hamlin is attacking Busch for how things turned out when he is about to face the same destiny as him at the end of the 2023 season, with JGR being reluctant whether they would extend the deal with FedEx or not. So, what did Hamlin have to say about Busch and the offer that was put on the table for him to sign by JGR? Boy, I tell you, the old fans are having a heyday with the JGR Twitter right now. They're saying, "See, we told you." People have to understand that Joe Gibbs wanted to sign Kyle Busch. They really tried. And they gave him a very, very good offer, but he did not want to take it, and ended up taking probably a lot less money at RCR because he had ran out of options. Whether this is true or not, it doesn't really matter. And with the season already underway, Hamlin and Busch are likely to have frequent battles at the front, now that the number 8 Chevrolet seems to be a car worth winning the championship. With that being said, what do you think about Kyle Busch? Do you buy into his whole villain to hero story? Let us know in the comments below.